back again. Or, Blade Runner, home again, jiggity jig. I got some cool stuff I'm going to show off. Some of you may actually already have some of this stuff and have known about it way before I did. And some of you may not. In which case, this is going to be awesome. All right. So this is an empty bag. Now, some of you know it has turned into a pain in the ass to get miniature crabs for some reason, right? It's like I've been trying to go on Reaper. Everywhere you go, they're sold out. You can go on Etsy and get them. Absolutely. Or you can go on eBay and get these 100% accurately painted plastic crabs. And I don't remember how much they were, but cheaper basically than, if I'd bought them from a toy company. So, or not toy company, a miniatures company. And as you can see, I'll have to find a big base that you can slap that bad boy down. And now, giant crab. And so this guy, just so you know, come from a company out of Canada, apparently, UK and Canada, called Papo. And this was my act of desperation. I went on WizKids. I went on eBay. I went on Reaper. And I looked like hell all over for just giant crabs. And none of them were really what I wanted. So then I thought about every time I go to Hobby Lobby, there's always those little plastic animals there, right? So I decided to go on Amazon and see if those little plastic animals were available from Amazon. Because, anything that saves me a ride to anywhere, I absolutely love. And it turns out, yes, they are. So if I want to, I can paint them up a little bit, change them up, do whatever I want to them. They'll take paint just fine. But I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to make a rocky base. What's up, George? How you doing? But I think I'll just make a rocky base and put that bad boy on it. And then when the players inevitably encounter a giant crab somewhere, there it is. And if I don't want to paint it, I guess I could throw some wash on it just to, whatever, and call it a day. I mean, that is done. Now, the other thing I got, and this was $4.99 a piece, are these bad boys right here. It's T-Rex, right? Or not T-Rex, the pterodactyl. Now, first off, this is about to scale for some of them. If I grab one of I had some legs here that were just the bottom half of a mounted figure. So you'll just have to take my word for it. Any kind of legs from a mounted figure will fit on this bad boy right there. And they're easy to drill. So I'm going to drill a hole here and post him on a base, probably a pretty big base. And then it'll be usable for actual monsters that are attacking the players and maybe even for mounts for the players. It could go both ways, right? And again, I guess if I wanted to, I could throw some ink, some shade on him, but he doesn't need it. And like I said, this was $4.99. So I got two. Now these were a little bit more expensive, but not really. I think this is $8 maybe for the pack, or maybe it was $16 for both of these. I can't wait to use this because it's a personal terror of mine. So I can't wait to inflict my trauma on my players. I think this guy was $8. Look at that. $8. Came painted. I put some red ink in its mouth, though, to make it look a little bit redder and whatever. This is supposed to represent a megalodon. Now, if I take my handy dandy cryomancer character that I have on the table here, and I just imagine let's go for 6 feet, right? So this bad boy right here is about 35 feet long. Now, I don't know how long a megalodon is supposed to actually be. 35 feet seems pretty good. I mean, when you consider, right, I've got this pirate ship, or not pirate, Viking ship. And this is one of the things that I use if the players are on a Viking ship and I want to have an encounter. I just let them put their characters however they want, all on the inside of this bad boy. I mean, there's a lot of space there. It's a 3D print. It's filament printed, which I actually am starting to really prefer. So you figure this guy coming up next to that ship. You see what I mean? That's a mess. He comes in there, you know. Now, the next thing's even worse. Not something I'm as terrified of as I am sharks. But that goes back to my mom letting me watch Jaws when I was very young. This came in the pack with that. And I think the pack was $16. I really do. Look at that bastard right there. This guy's jaw actually moves. I may glue it, but I may not. Came painted and everything. I can shade him if I want or not. Of course, that's a big ass mesosaur, whatever, I guess. And it's actually as long as the pirate or the Viking ship. It's as long as that. Now, this isn't a dragon ship. This is, I think they call it Neural, which is kind of like a merchant ship. It's a wider bodied long ship, is what it is. But man, have this thing pop out of the ocean on them and be like, rah! This thing would probably be like 16 hit die. I don't know. You might just want abandoned ship. Of course, I wouldn't call it a mesosaur in my Hyperborean game. I would call it a sea dragon. That makes a lot more sense. And now this is, I hope this is what I think it is. It is, oh my goodness. This guy was cheap. And by cheap, I'm, of course, comparing to like miniature companies, right? I think this guy was this guy might have been under $10. I don't know. Definitely under 20, right? And he, I will show you, is from Gemini and Genius Education Toys for 3-year-olds and up. All right. Now, he could get some dry brushing. He could get a little work to make him a little bit whatever. He could get a dull coat. But he's already 90% done. I just need to put him on a big freaking base. And remember when I was talking about the Isle of Dread and all the different things you could do with the Isle of Dread? Well, this was one of the big things I was thinking about. A gigantic freaking ape. King Kong himself. And like I said, because these are toys for 3-year-olds, one, this thing, you're not going to break this. You could throw this across the house. It's made out of just really tough PVC. He'll fit on a base just fine. I'll just have to find a big enough base for him. And this would terrorize player characters. So, like, if they see this thing wading through the jungle at them, they better run. You know? And it fits with Hyperborea so well, since about a quarter of the monsters in Hyperborea are somehow related to an ape. So, boom, there you go. Now, I got a bunch more apes coming, but I think I'm just about done collecting apes. I did pick up the Monolith Conan role-playing game miniatures box, and that was kind of expensive, but it come with like close to 200 figures. So anything you would ever want to play the Conan role-playing game is in this box. Picks and pirates and everything, all the miniatures, carnivorous apes and giant spiders and scorpions. Um, I kind of wish I'd known the box existed before I bought some of the stuff I bought because it would save me money, but I didn't know it existed, so boo-hoo for me. Down here, I'm organizing monsters. Remember how I said I took one of these and I organized all of my dungeon set? So, what's up, Steve? So I organized all my walls and cavern walls and everything that goes in a dungeon. And here I'm starting to organize my monsters. So, like that up there is my gugs. If you know about Call of Cthulhu, you know what a gug is. So, I still need to paint the skulls on those bad boys. So I'm kind of trying to divide out my monsters into what I think I'll use the most versus whatever, and then organize them thusly. Now, what do we got here? I got another bag. See, this is good. I come home and freaking... And again, remember, these are toys that I got off of Amazon. They are marketed to little kids. And they are incredibly affordable compared to any miniatures company. And like I said, you can always repaint these bad boys, right? So in this kit, got 3 in one kit, 3. So they come out to, I guess, about $3 a piece or something. They're about the same consistency as Reaper bones. They're that kind of thing. But look at that guy. And again, other than maybe throwing a wash on him just to make him look a little bit grittier and putting him on a base, he's done. He's done. Yeah, I've been looking at those and I've been thinking really hard about it. The other thing, Stephen, I've been thinking about is whether I want to fire up my Mars 2 and run a print of Blimmies, which are the humans where they don't have a head, but their faces in their chest. There's a guy who basically is giving away the STLs for various Blimmies with different weapons, but you cannot find any company that actually makes a Blimmy. And it's like, that's such a common monster, you know? In ancient mythology, that's a common monster. And of course, in Clark Ashton Smith, about half of the humans that live on Saturn are Blimmies. So, yeah. So here's another one out of the same pack. You can see that it's painted a little bit different. I will be honest with you. I don't know much about scorpions, except I do know that the little green vinegaroons that live in Iraq will make you really sick. And I know that the big black ones that live in Iraq basically won't bother you too much at all unless you're allergic. I think the black ones are called the emperor scorpions, and the little green ones are vinegaroons. And yeah, as is true, I guess, with a lot of nature, the little colorful one is the one that'll light you up. And then the big black one is the one that people keep as pets. And this comes with, I don't know, this could indeed be a giant emperor scorpion. So they're all about the same, but they're different looking. Like the way their tails are and the claws are different. But they're all about the same. So this is definitely a giant scorpion. It's going to go on like a 50cc base. Yeah, a giant camel spider. That would be terrifying. So they'll go on like a 50mm base, it looks like. If I have to squeeze the legs in a little bit to make it fit, I can do that. Just make it stand up a little taller. And that might be actually a good thing, right? And I got more scorpions. Now, the scorpions, I think I got 2 because they were cheap. It was like, and I thought, well, these guys are pretty inexpensive. I'll grab more. I don't know if I will ever throw 6 gigantic scorpions at my player character group because, according to the rules, I'm pretty sure that would just be a TPK right there, especially considering in Hyperborea, if you've got deadly poison, it is a fell or die within a certain period of time, So, I mean, not only are you fighting a thing that's got big ass claws that can just rip through you, even if you're in armor, but if that tail spike hits, you're done. Oh, they even painted the eyes on these little bastards. That is a good detail. So I can see in my future, I will have to get my hands on some 50 or 60 mil bases. I don't know if I have any. But so this is the thing. Yeah, I wanted to show off. I didn't expect these to come in, but since they came in, now I have a big thing at the end to show you that some of you are going to think is just the complete most awesome thing ever. And it came in from Greece. If that tells you anything, it came from Greece. And it got here in under a week and a half. So the Greek 3D printing company that makes this shit is no joke. Is the shipping terrible? Yes. Yes. If you want decent shipping, you're going to pay like $20 or more to ship just a little thing, right? But I kind of think it's worth it. Honestly. I really do. For this thing, because I couldn't find the one I wanted anywhere. And I think, if I remember correctly, I thought that Otherworld Miniatures actually made one, but maybe not. So this thing I'm pretty interested in. And it, again, was under $10. And these things I'm not going to mount on bases. There's no reason to. But you see that at the, like a Loch Ness monster. What are they called? The really long neck bastards. Plesiosaur, right? Again, I would just call it a sea dragon. And if I heat this up in hot water, I can twist that head around and get it to stand up like that. Just like with Reaper Bones miniatures, right? And this would make such a good sea encounter for players in Hyperborea. A long neck sea dragon. Granted, oh, look at that. They put its bottom on. Or cloaca. That's wild. That's a weird detail I didn't expect. And then if you wanted to, like if I wanted to, I could paint this bastard striped. And it would take the painting. And honestly, I might paint this guy striped like a tiger. Why? Just because. It's going to look weird because it's a Hyperborean monster. It needs to look weird. So I've got my pterodactyls, more scorpions than I'll ever use. Megalodon, Mosasaur, King Kong. Let's be honest, that's what the hell that is. That's King Kong. Now, they sold it as just a silverback gorilla, but then when I looked at the size of it, I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, look at this guy. Again, taking my handy-dandy Cryomancer figure and doing just a quick measurement. Assuming he is 5.5 feet tall, then this King Kong here is close to 30 feet. 30 feet tall. 3 stories tall, this guy. So maybe not as big as the new King Kong, but definitely like a Mighty Joe Young or the original King Kong, right? I mean, this miniature is actually bigger than my T-Rex. I think if T-Rex started jumping, this guy would just pull T-Rex apart. So, very exciting. And as I said, the best part is inexpensive, pre-painted. So, yeah, I think the only thing these guys need to look like an official, miniature for a role playing game is a non oil shade, and then maybe throw some um, dull coat on them. And I think that that's going to do it. As a matter of fact, while I've got this crab out, and I just so happen to have some, oh, look at my hair, some non oil shade, let me grab a big old brush and hit him up. That way I'll see if my thoughts are true or if what I'm planning to do is a bad idea. So I've got a big old stupid brush that's all just beat up, right? And I'm just going to put a nice bit of non oil on this bad guy, making sure to go back and pick any up if it starts pulling or anything. So, so even though these guys were inexpensive pre-painted miniatures, I'm not going to try to ruin them, make them look worse than they are. Oh, it looks really good on the underside. It needs to dry though. So, see if I can grab him without grabbing by his back toe. So that is the crab with shade on, and it looks realistic. This looks like, if you put it on a table, people are going to be like, "Holy shit, this is horrible." Now, there used to be a guy a long, long time ago, Woodwad. I forget what his name was, Adam or Aaron or something. And he used to go to like dollar stores looking for, toys. And that's kind of what I was influenced by when I decided to look for actual toys like you would find at, a Hobby Lobby or I forget the name of the other one. We have them both here, so. But the Hobby Lobby's closer. That's where I go. Now, to show you guys, and by you guys, I mean the one of you that stayed, thanks whoever you are. This is the figure I got from Greece. Let me get it close to the camera so you can actually revel in the madness that is this figure. Look at that. I mean, look at that. Now, those of you who are old school D&Ders, you'll know who this is. I mean, if you're like a legit old school Dungeons and Dragons player, you will 100%. I have been in Kentucky for like over a week, Bo. Been in Kentucky. I made a video of me sitting on a mountainside about having a heart attack because I didn't get any younger. And I went up to my property up there, which is on the side literally of a mountain at about 2,000 feet above sea level or closer to 3. And I thought I'd walk up the mountain just like normal. And boy, I had to stop and take a couple breaks. And then on the way down, I tripped on a rock and had to stop myself with the tree and took all the skin right off of there. And then when I got home, I had to pull off like 5 of those red spotted ticks because apparently I'm delicious. But for those of you who do not know, this is the main bad guy at the very bottom of the Lost City. His name, I think, starts with a Z. It's like Zygan or Zygon, the ever-living or whatever. Now, for Hyperborea, that is an amazing Lovecraftian, Clark Ashton Smith type, Conan type, weird freaking monster. But yeah, the link is in there. Guys, when I put the link in there, that's an automatic invitation. I mean, no one should wait for me to invite you. If you want to jump in, just jump in. I'll hit the button. We can bullshit around about miniatures or whatever. Like I said, I'm mostly in the middle of organizing, but oh my God. More like a Bo, if you're going to do something, I'd need more like a ski lift. Plus, it didn't help that I walked up where the power line run on the edge of the property because I thought, hey, that's clear. This should be easier, right? No, it was 100% nothing but raspberry bushes. And any of you boys who ever lived in the country and know anything about raspberry bushes, you know one thing: they're briars, is what they are. Raspberries grow on briars. Luckily, I had my thick tactical pants on. I had my freaking big ass boots that I wear come up almost to my knee. They're like riding ropers, basically, right? Milwaukee leather ropers. And so I didn't get tore up, but I had to stomp my way through these freaking raspberry bushes. And of course, the raspberries weren't even ripe. So I couldn't even like do anything with that. So I learned a valuable lesson that I should have known, but I wanted to test because I never have. If you're going to walk up the mountain that where my mom is that I own, right? Go through the woods for the love of God. Just go through the woods. One, you're in the dark, it's shady. Two, you can literally just use the trees to pull yourself up the mountain, no problem. Three, there's no brambles and briars under there. And I learned that because when I decided to come down, I came down through the woods. And it was so easy. I was just like, like really? And usually coming down a steep slope, like on a hill or a mountain, is actually more difficult than going up it. At work. Yeah, I got you, Steven. I'm just saying, for Bo, for George, for whomever throws up drives in, don't be shy. Of course, I'm warning you right now, I am in the mood to talk about miniatures and Hyperborea. So if that's not something that you're interested in, then you may not want to jump on, because I actually made this Hyperborean Barbarian. And by made, I mean I bought the miniature. It's a filament print miniature. But I painted him up like a Hyperborean. So you see how pale he is, and his hair is like that white. And you can't see his eyes, but they're violet. He's got violet eyeballs. Now, no one in my game actually plays a Hyperborean Berserker, and another reason is this figure's tall. He's like 35 mil. So even without the base, he would be like 8 feet next to any of the standard miniatures I have. Maybe even a little taller. And that's perfect for Hyperboreans because they're 7 foot plus guys, right? So I really like that. And then I've got these guys I need to paint. These come from the Conan box set, and they're just basically like city guards, whatever. Got like 20 of them. And I'm just going to give them a really basic paint job, do the leather, do the metal, do the face, and leave the cloth red. Since I primered them red, I'm going to leave all the cloth red. And they can represent, And now let me look at this guy. I need to fix some stuff on this guy too, but he's getting there. This is an actual player character miniature for my game. This character, his name is like Philanthalus or something like that. And one of the players at my table is playing a human war. Well, they're all human. A warlock, right? And he chose to be a Spartan. So that's his whole deal. He carries his shield. He wears his armor. He's got a spear. He's specialized in spear as a fighter. But he's got spells too. Like he can cast Identify. He can cast like Light. A couple of little basic spells. You don't get a ton. So I actually bought that miniature from Reaper, and it came with a sword. And he's big. That barbarian I showed you is big. Like if I put him next to a carnivorous ape, like a Reaper carnivorous ape, he's taller than the carnivorous ape. He is a Spartan. Yep. But he doesn't have the lambda on his shield because the character is actually Jason. from Jason and the Argonauts. Reaper makes a Jason and a Hercules figure. Um, I bought two of these. One I painted up, and it's just painted up. But how it originally came is with a sword, right? Because I guess Jason had the sword he used to cut, you know, Medusa's head off, right? But unfortunately, or fortunately, or whatever, however you want to go about it, the player in my group specializes with spear. He has a sword, but he uses a spear. And so I just bought a second of those because it costs like $4.99. It's just bones. And whacked a hand off and threw a hand with a spear on him.
Testes.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Still got him. 3. That's one extra, I think.
Well, what do you see? Working on some Hyperborean dudes, huh?
Well,
I presume
because
your game is still
Hyperborea.
running pretty well.
Oh, everybody's loving it, man. We had to take a 2-week break while I went up north, but
Sure.
yeah, it's of all the versions of fantasy role playing I've ran since I was a teenager, this is the one that everybody seems to be most like involved in. And I kind of wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that everyone's a human. Like my wife, who is a Dane, got to play a Dane.
Right.
She chose to play a Dane. And my brother-in-law, he just picked the Spartan. I don't know why, because he's definitely a Dane. But
because he's gay. I'm just kidding.
No, he's not, and I'm not sure the Spartans were either. But anyway,
well, the Greeks are. It's not gay if you're on top.
Yeah, that is kind of a thing, isn't it? But and then one of the ladies chose to play an Amazon, and early in the game, she got cursed, and it turned part of her hair white, even though she had black hair. So I painted a miniature up for her, and I gave her a stripe of white.
Right.
Yeah, she's an Amazon assassin, though, so yeah, she runs around just stabbing people in the neck and shit.
Okay.
I have a motley assortment of players in my group. Like my brother is playing a cleric whose god that he worships is Tasagwa, which is the most commonly worshipped god amongst humans, so makes sense. And yeah, but all that aside, the thing is the bestiary for Hyperborea has a lot of things that you won't find in the first monster manual, but then it doesn't have a lot of things. So in Hyperborea, most of the humans don't exist.
Right. I was going to say though, if it's AD&D compatible, then you should have a plethora of monster bestiaries from which to choose.
Right. And it is pretty hardcore AD&D compatible.
Well, there you go.
But
if it's AD&D compatible, then just you've got 20 years of or 30 years really of Dragon magazines to delve through.
Yeah.
For stuff that your players may have never seen. The problem I've had with running games with folks of a particular generation is keeping them surprised when it comes to monsters.
Right.
So in lieu of just reskinning them, which is always an option, make your white dragon spit fire or your green dragon spit whatever. Right. Just to change things up. You've also got a lot of both third party and and everything else. Just said monsters that unless you're a real hardcore player, you've certainly never heard of.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I don't know if you've looked at Hyperborea at all.
I've not looked at
But
Hyperborea at all.
yeah, so basically, it's a lot less Tolkien and a lot more Howard.
Well,
So
I mean,
there's a lot of dinosaurs and like primitive
sure.
humans and carnivorous apes, shit like that. What's up, Ramon? Or yeah, I'm gonna say Ramon. It could be Raymond, but I've never seen Raymond that way. So, Ramon, hola, cómo estás, amigo? So you're still painting your death guard, huh?
Oh, I have got some. I'm making some pretty good progress, but I just I found some more that I had built but not painted at all, and not even primed yet.
Dude, you ain't
And then
got to
I've got
explain yourself to me.
um,
You've got so
so
much.
I did get, and then I've got some of the beastmen that I'm still proxying in, and those are in various stages of done. And then I painted the minis first, but not I didn't paint the bases. So now I'm building. Actually, what I'm doing this morning is, or this afternoon, is building bases.
Always fun.
So I'm doing a Martian theme. So my Martian theme is starting with a thin layer of cork and then some pine bark on top to simulate the rock. And then I crazy glue it all down, and then I do it a German brown prime, which is the Viejo German brown prime.
Right.
And then over that, I'm gonna do an orange, thin paint, and then a tan dry brush, and then an orange wash, and then the bases will be done.
Very cool.
But and then Shadow sent me some more walls, some Dungeons and Lasers walls, and I've got the Dungeons and Lasers Land of the Giant Scatter Terrain. I'm gonna make an army board. I have never made an army board, a display board.
I think, yeah, I talked to you one time and you were talking about wanting to do that.
Yeah, I want to do the whole old school, even if I never play a single game. I want to have it all set up on a nice, 4 square foot, 2 foot by 2 foot. And I'm going to put a layer of sheet metal underneath the foam so that all my magnetized minis will stick to it. So I'm thinking maybe I'll get 2 layers of the Corning pink 1-inch foam and glue a layer of sheet metal between them. I don't know if the magnets will stick through a whole inch of foam though. I'll have to play with it.
What you need to do is get the pink foam and then get some foam core board from like the Dollar General store.
Yeah, so it's a thinner.
And peel the paper off of that. Because the good thing is the cheap foam core board you get at the Dollar General store, it's really easy to peel the paper off and just leave the foam.
Right.
Glue that down, and then you can texture that foam however you want. And the magnets will stick to it. I know this from experience.
Yeah.
You have to have incredibly strong magnets for them to hold a miniature to a piece of sheet metal.
They're rare earth magnets, but they're not. I mean, they're the synthetic, Chinese rare earth magnets that are so common nowadays.
Tell me, I keep hundreds of these at all times.
Yeah, hey, look, I've got a pile of those too.
Right? I mean, great minds. So that is what I would say, though. You definitely would want to use the thinnest. Now, in some hardware stores, you can actually find that high density pink foam in like half and quarter-inch thickness.
Oh, well, I've seen it. No, I've seen it in 1-inch and 2-inch thickness, but I'll check later on. But
yeah, here in Orlando, at my local store, they have like every thickness. And the last time I bought pink foam, I bought an 8x4 sheet.
Right.
Because it's cheaper than buying the 3 foot by 3 foot or whatever they always want to sell.
Sure. Well, that's my goal.
Oh, that'd be good. A display thing that totally hypes your army, man.
Yeah, and I was going to do the whole thing with the Martian theme, and then put some, buildings. So it's sort of like how I don't need to tell you, in 40K, at the beginning of the like in the 30K lore, Mars is like terraformed.
Right.
and then it like sneaks back into, it regresses back into, a dead state. So I was going to do it Martian, but then have, building ruins.
Yeah, I think the thing is during the Horus Heresy, didn't Mars get like bombarded, and they had a civil war too?
Oh yeah, no, totally. It's with the Dark
You had the
Mechanicum.
Martian priests versus the heretics, and they were using all kinds of crazy Martian weapons. That's why most of their shits underground are in orbit now,
Right.
because the surface of Mars is just a irradiated freaking hellhole.
Right. Which is why I said I was going to do. And I like the red, the Martian red, which is not really red, but
Yeah,
rust red. I think it
right.
would contrast well with my light green Death Guard, which is kind of. I
You're
was kind of
totally
going
right.
for a more of a 30K color aesthetic, the old Dust
Right.
Raiders color, just a little bit more green than that.
So 3x3 is perfect, Steven, but when I played Frostgrave, we played on a 4x4 because we always played with 3 or 4 players.
Right.
So everyone started in a corner. That was how we set up our deployment. War of the Worlds, yeah. Well, I mean, I have some Legions Imperialis Martian heretic shit, and it is like spider things with guns and some wild ass shit. And then their basic troop, the Hesperix or whatever it's called, is like some kind of robot covered in like metal tendrils. And whereas the Martian stuff is what you expect, it's like the freaking big ass tracked vehicles and Scutari all over the place, and the tech priests, the heretics are all weird robots with spider legs. But hey, that's cool. Because for Epic, I'm talking Epic, obviously.
Right.
I have a Martian army, Heretic army, Blood Angels army, and Imperial Guard army so far painted. About 3,000 points of each.
Well,
And
I'm glad you've got one loyalist army then.
huh?
And I'm glad you've got one non-chaos army
Are
or
you
two.
saying
Never mind.
the auxiliary?
No. I'm saying that the Blood Angels are heretics.
Oh well,
No,
out
I
of
mean I'm saying the Dark Angels are heretics. Pardon me.
yeah, I played Blood Angels. I have since
No,
the
I think you said
beginning.
Dark Angels.
I even have the Forge World Sanguinius on the shelf. I show him off every now and then, but
I
so anywho,
thought that Hungar played Blood Angels and you played Dark Angels. Or am I
you
backwards?
you are backwards. And Hungar would be like, hold on a second. I love Blood Angels, but I played Dark Angels. Yeah.
Yeah.
But originally, the thing is, before Hungar read the Horus Heresy books, he
Yeah.
played Khorne. And he had a big Death Guard army, too.
Yeah.
Like, that weird mortar tank and all the
Yeah,
little
I've got
pneumatic
two of
whatever.
yeah, I've got two of those sitting here on the spruce still.
And he
I
had
am
all
not
of the
doing.
John flies with the plague bearers on them.
I've got some of those. Those are illegal now in 40K, I guess. But I was going to proxy those as the other ones, as these things. I can't remember what they're called.
It's a good thing I don't care what they say. Oh yeah, those are cool too.
But I was going to proxy the guys riding the flies
Yeah,
because they're the same size.
right.
And again, the guys that I don't play, but the guys that I know are guys that are like our age, and they're like, I showed them my Beastmen proxies, and they're like, those are cool shit. Yeah, bring those. Definitely, those are great
Because they're
because
old school.
and they are old school. And one of my buddy Jason, who's got a big Death Guard army, he says, yeah, man, Papa Nurgle doesn't hide his blessings from anybody.
Right. See, old
You
school
got
40K
Chaos
players,
Beastmen.
old school 40K players would let you play about any damn thing.
Well, I
You know
think it
what I
needs,
mean?
especially if it makes sense, internally.
Right.
Like,
But back in the day, and I know you were like during first, well, let's say Rogue Trader, which I don't even consider 40K, but second, third,
No,
fourth,
I know it's technically not 40K, but
it was all about Dragon Magazine was nothing but cool lore shit and directions on how to build weird custom shit. That was like the point, not Dragon, White Dwarf.
White Dwarf.
So, like, I remember, like, one of the early White Dwarfs taught you how to build an orc gobsmasher, which is basically an assault tank, out of a cereal box.
Right.
And that was tournament legal back then. There was one of them that came with, like, you could print it out or cut it out, and it was like the template to make a Space Marine bunker. You know,
right. Oh yeah.
Square and shit. And
yeah, those cardboard, that cardboard Space Marine bunker is kind of famous.
Yeah, and it's like that just used to be
along with the deodorant grav tank.
Yeah, the deodorant land speeder grab tank thing.
Yeah, those are famous. Those are absolutely.
Well, it was a stick of deodorant, a couple of toothbrush caps, a plastic spoon, and like a couple other things. And if you glued it together the way they told you to, you had like a land speeder before they even made a land speeder. And they did a lot of that. And the orcs especially got the treatment.
Well, that's the first rule of. I mean, even now, people will say, you know, anything is an orc vehicle if you have enough imagination.
Right. And the thing with that though was that they were tournament legal too. Yeah. I mean, it was like I made this thing, an old Tonka toy, and glued a bunch of spikes on it and shit, and people be like, "Okay," and it's my battle wagon. All right,
right, 100%.
Or one thing that a lot of people did down here is they would buy like an Imperial Guard Leman Russ tank.
Oh yeah,
and then just glue crazy shit all over it, and then have an
orc. Oh yeah,
the
looted tank
out of the hatch, and it was like, here's my work, tank, whatever it was, a head smasher or whatever they were back then. So anyway, this is what I'm doing with the pterodactyls. I'm going to go ahead and put them on a copper rod, fix that to a base, and they will pretty much be ready to go. And like I said, I've got some of the lower half of a Greek cataphract, and they fit right on there. So I might even put a little magnet in there so that I can paint over it, but then if I want to attach a rider or not.
Oh.
Well, because in Hyperborea, of course, people ride pterodactyls, man. Come on. It's a thing that you can do.
Because physics is not such a big thing.
Well, no.
Because, if a pterodactyl would only weigh like, 40 or 50 pounds. You got a 200-pound man riding on top of it.
Well, it depends on the T-Rex you're talking about, homie. Or not T-Rex, the pterodon.
Well, they're basically giant chickens.
Because the Quetzalcoatlus, those things were like 25 feet tall.
Oh no, I know, but they have hollow bones and they're not very massive. I'm just talking about straight mass. Okay, maybe
reality.
Don't inject reality. I mean, you're from the country. You know how much a chicken actually weighs compared to how big they are.
Depends on the chicken. We could get into a whole thing. I know all the breeds pretty much. A Rhode Island Red can weigh quite a damn bit, but a Baney can barely weigh not even a pound, maybe a couple ounces. Some of them bastards, but regardless, it's a flat world circling Saturn a billion years in the future. I think that
you can do whatever you want. I'm not looking to interject. I'm painting. I mean, I got 40K minis in my hand. What do I know?
No, this is called banter, and this is what bros do. Like, this is a very popular thing in my Hyperborea game.
Yeah, I saw that. That was in Swiss Family Robinson.
One of the, I think this is a Chocobo miniature.
Oh.
From like Final Fantasy, but I just painted it up, whatever. I got like 5. I painted all different colors. And one of the players in the group, the Celt Scout, he actually bought and rides one of these. And it's very fast, but it doesn't have a lot of hit points or anything. So, and you got to feed it meat. It doesn't eat grain. So, whereas my brother's character invested a shit ton of money to buy this.
His war elephant.
Yeah, it's a mammoth. And the problem with owning a mammoth is if you don't feed it so much per day, the longer it doesn't get fed enough, the more likely it is to stomp you out.
Well, that's kind of what elephants do.
And they're not weak. This guy's like an 8 or 9 hit die creature. If he decides to stomp on one of these 5th level players, they're probably going to die.
Let's just say wait till the first time it fails its morale check and stomps the party.
Yep, just start. But it's got that what do they call that, Palquin or whatever on its back. So like 4 people
Yeah,
right in it, 4 or 5,
sure.
and it can carry all the gear, but it's slow and it's very willful. So there's that. And all of the miniatures that came in my Monolith Conan board game, they all get
Yeah,
used because I mean, Hyperborea versus Hyborea, it's like the same damn game, it's same setting really.
sure.
Um,
It is.
yeah, when I was on Shadow's show last night, I was pointing out to him that if you played Conan 2.20 or Monolith Conan role playing game, your
Uh,
character can be a Hyperborean because
right.
Hyperborea exists as a nation.
Yeah, it's like the one like the farthest north country or something like that. And
Yeah, Howard based it on Russia. So, it's really cold and they may or may not just enslave you on site.
I recall in one of the books it had really like cavemen live there too, like super primitives, like
Yep,
gray skin, almost like the Morlocks from Time Machine.
not wrong, homie. Not wrong at all. But one thing about Conan and R.E. Howard's Hyborian Age, which is also H.P. Lovecraft's Hyborian Age, is the instance of encountering cave people or whatever is so common. Whether it's when Conan's crossing the mountains and has to fight the hairless apes that have razor sharp scimitars or whatever it is, Conan is always fighting like a Desovian, a Neanderthal, a Homo habilis type thing. And he's also always fighting just straight up like apes, but they eat people.
Right.
Carnivorous apes are a thing,
Well,
The old swallow and coconut argument, right? I'll tell you what, Steven. I'm a huge fan of the animated movie Fire and Ice. And if the Fire and Ice pterodactyls can carry warriors, then by goodness, my Hyperborean ones can. As a matter of fact, the whole Fire and Ice movie, the Bakshi film, could have been set in Hyperborea. Everything in it is Hyperborean. You've got Necron, the Cryomancer, that's pushing glaciers into the warm land, and then you've got the Fire Kingdom, and then the servants are all freaking.
there it is.
Bless you. They're all subhuman, like
Thank
caveman
you.
type things. So yeah, there's not a single thing in that animated movie that would not fit in Hyperborea.
Holy crap! I just keep pulling these out.
You got too many miniatures?
No, well, they're okay. There aren't in the modern 40K. It's a toy range. In the toy range, in the miniature range, there aren't that many different Plague Marines. There's like one box of 7, but then there was another 3 that were released. They called the reinforcements. They're discontinued a long time ago. Then there was the set from the 8th edition Star Collecting box.
Right.
And then there was another set that was really recently released as a kill team. And I've got all of them. I managed to find even I found the 8th edition Star Collecting box. And
that there were some that came in like these blind boxes.
Yeah, no, those are the ones that were re-released as the kill team.
Oh, okay.
And they're actually really super cool because they have the specialists, especially the malignant plaguecaster, of which there were only 2, and they're both locked behind paywalls. They released one Malignant Plaguecaster in the 8th edition starter box, and then one Malignant Plaguecaster in that blind box we're talking about, which is why I actually used one of the Chaos Beastmen that I proxied as a Malignant Plaguecaster so I could have 3. So I could have the full rule of 3s.
Right.
If I wanted to have 3.
Well,
but I was just
Games Workshop.
Games Workshop's going to Games Workshop. And actually, what I like about James, which is actually what I like about the Death Guard right now, is there actually so few units in the Death Guard that you could. It's actually really hard to get to go through the whole buffs and nerfs that other armies will go through. They'll make a unit almost unusable, so that another unit can take its place. But when you only have 8 units, it's kind of hard to do that.
Right.
They can do that with characters. They can say, this character's isn't any good anymore. Buy this character instead. But when they only have again, their range is so small, which is good and bad. It's good because it's hard to get buffed and nerfed, but it's bad because I'm going to have all the units painted soon, and then what am I going to do?
Start another army is what they hope.
Nah, well, that's not going to happen.
Well, I'm just saying what they hope.
Oh, I know what they hope. Well, they can want in one hand, and
I know that saying.
And squeeze real hard, and just squeeze real hard.
See which one.
I do actually. I already have a couple of duplicates because I bought a job lot on eBay a while back, and the job lot is one of the other great. I don't know how to say it. Great chestnuts of Warhammer. You buy somebody else's project, and I bought a job lot of Death Guard, and they were in various stages of building and kit bashing and painting. And so I ended up with a couple of duplicates, which is, again, it's fine.
Better than fine. You never know. You might actually desire them for something at some point.
Oh, I 100% did. And I had 3 of those, an extra set of those, the press fit ones, which everybody bought back in the day, but for some reason are really desirable now, even though they're press fit, because nobody can get them anymore. They're out of production. And I gave him to that my friend Jason because he didn't have them. He's got a Death Guard army, but he didn't have these 3 particular, poses. I said, "Here, you can just have them, my dude." Even though I probably could have sold them for a penny, but you give them away. You give them to your bros.
It's just another example of gamers being cool. When I used to hang out at the comic shop, we had a lot of that too. That was I don't know how it is now. It's been so long since I've actually went up and actually just hung out.
Right.
But back in the day, everyone there was so cool with everything. It was just do what you want.
I think it depends on your group.
Yeah, because I think you're 100% correct.
If you got a win at all costs bunch of crested neckbeards that are tournament players, that only care about WYSIWYG and they want everything to be just so, they're a bunch of sons of bitches you don't want to hang out with. But if you got a bunch of dads, bunch of guys that just get together once a week and hang out and push plastic and roll dice and bullshit, then you're probably going to be all right.
See, the funny thing about your statement is I started out as one and become the other.
Sure.
When I started playing Warhammer Fantasy and 40K, I was a win at all costs guy. And then I guess after about 5 years of that, I turned into the fluffless guy.
Yeah, narrative player.
And that's when I painted my Lamenter's army. Which I won with a couple of times, and yes, my Lamenter's army was kind of not fair, but it was a fluff army though. It was yellow blood angels. A lot of people were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm going to paint up an army of my favorite chapters from the Badab War.
Right.
But yeah, I played my one of my best friends. He was playing Dark Eldar before they renamed him,
Right.
and my
No.
whole
Yeah.
army did Blood Angels during that edition. Every single thing had twin linked assault cannons. I had bow predators. I had what are the tanks that carry 5 infantrymen with twin linked assault cannons? Um, oh, not the Rhino, the Razorbacks. So I
Right.
had Razorbacks, twin link assault cannons, bow predators, twin link assault cannons, freaking assault speeders, land speeders, twin linked assault cannons, and then just a bunch of assault marines without backpacks. Because in that edition, if you drop the backpack, it dropped the price of them.
Oh.
So I had assault marines mounted in Razorbacks, and but the assault marines were very vanilla. You know, they were mostly chainsword bolt pistol, but everything had assault cannons, and we started playing, and it was just like, well, my rate of fire is like 6, and I get to re-roll 1s, and it just, and if I roll 6, it rends. I ate him up so quick. But that was just his army because it was a really low toughness army. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I shredded him, but against other Marine armies, I didn't do great. Especially one time, just for the hell of it, I made a 2,000 point army. It was nothing but tactical Marines and a commander. Put that shit on the table, Blood Angels, and it was like 90 Space Marines or some shit. You know what I mean? And they were all equipped.
Right.
Missile launcher. I literally was fielding like 9 10-man squads with flamers and missile launchers, and then the commander. It didn't do great, but it was fun to play though. You know,
Turn your elite army into a horde army, huh?
yeah. Because I mean, at that time, and again, I don't remember which edition, but like a Space Marine was like 10 points. So if you're playing 2,500, I mean, you could just, I mean, you're talking like 100 points for a squad. And then you could pay extra if you want different weapons, because back then the missile launcher and the flamer were free. And the sergeant you had to pay for 5 points, and any gear he had, you had to pay for. But if you left him as just the sergeant with a bolt pistol and a chainsword, free. And that's what I did. I just had a shit ton of no nonsense, no upgrade Space Marine tactical squads. You think Bo's loud? Bo sounds good to me, but I might be deaf.
Well, am I too quiet?
No. Steven said you were slightly too loud, and I was.
Oh.
I could be deaf though, so sorry, Steven.
I like the idea, and again, they can't do it right now because they took away cultists for Death Guard. But I've got I'm going to build a bunch of cultists anyway when I get done, because they're going to they bring everything back eventually.
Like bears or not?
No,
bears. The
they have poxwalkers,
like zombies. What?
Yeah, they have those, but there's only 10 poses.
Yeah,
so I'm getting a bunch 3D printed right now. One of my buddies has a 3D printer, and I gave him some alternate poxwalker sculpts.
You know, of the poxwalkers that you could have, if you look really close at them, and this is only important to me, one of them's a firefighter.
One of them's a firefighter?
Yeah, the one with the fire axe, and like he's got the SCBA tank with the hose. Yeah, that's a firefighter. An undead firefighter. Now, if you never did the job, you probably would never notice.
Well, right, but I was going to say, since I'm a nurse, I would say, yeah, I didn't have to drop his IQ too much.
Haha. Yeah, go get your orders from your puppet master, sir.
That's right.
Isn't that kind of the thing? The you can't do anything. You got to go to the puppet master.
Yeah,
I've intubated more people than probably your doctor has.
That was the last time I went to get my my CPR signed off,
Uh-huh.
and the firefighter started making fun of me for being a nurse.
Well, he's
And the
an idiot
firefighter,
because you make way more
what
money.
that was where we got to. The firefighter says, "Ha ha, you wipe asses, I intubate patients."
And you're like, haha, I make 3 times more than you, dumbass.
So first he says, you know what the difference is between a firefighter and a nurse? I said, okay, tell me. He said, well, they both wanted to be firefighters when they were kids.
You
And
know,
I said,
there are firefighters that are a little bit too proud of it.
I said, wait a minute, let's unpack that a little bit. Let's unpack that. Probably not the girl nurses. The girl nurses probably never wanted to be firefighters.
Unless they really wanted to sleep with firefighters, in which case.
And I said, I probably would have been a firefighter, but my grades were a little bit too good in college.
Yeah. No, I understand. I mean,
and then he says, you're right. Then he says, next he says, you wipe asses, I intubate patients. I said, well, you know what else I do? I cash paychecks.
Well, I don't know that RNs do wipe asses. Don't you guys got other people do that?
It depends. You know, I would never ask a CNA to do something I wouldn't do myself.
Well, that just makes you a good guy. Now, half of the dudes in the fire department where I worked were either nurses and worked nurse shifts when they weren't on fire shifts, or
Right.
worked at the hospital, basically just pushing wheelchairs from one floor to the next.
Right.
Because, I mean, yeah, I know my buddy, his wife works on a stroke ward, and she makes, my best year was a third of what she makes every year.
Right.
So the thing with firefighters is you only do it if you're stupid and you like it. Because
I got nothing but respect for the job. I'm just, we're just having fun. We're just busting balls.
Oh, dude, everything you're saying, I've said to cops. You know?
Oh, yeah, well, that too.
Firefighters, you have to F with the cops. That's like a rule, right? So when they show up on a scene and you start chatting with them, you're like, hey, you know, if you'd studied a little harder, you could have been a fireman. Shit like, oh, you know why we exist, right? And they'll be like, why? Because cops need heroes. You know, shit like that. And it's all in good fun because you're all going to end up at the same parties and bars and shit hanging out.
Right.
Your wives all know each other. It's like, whatever. But it is just a joke. And nurses, I'll tell you what, down here, I don't know how it is where you are, but down here, male nurses are treated like gold. Holy shit. Like,
well, the thing about
literally just will let them do anything.
Working on the psych floor for the last couple of years. The thing about the dude nurses, they were the ones that you always called when you needed to give somebody a shot that didn't want to get a shot.
Or something's heavy, or something's on the top shelf in the freaking supply closet.
Well, that too, but that happens. That's going to happen anyway. So you can reach that?
Down here, when they get a male nurse, they're just like ecstatic, you know. And I dig it. I dig it.
Honestly, the job I've got right now, though, since I've been working for the VA,
oh, nice,
is so freaking chill that some nights, not to tell stories out of school, but some nights I might bring a little wet pallet with me. And, one mini that I want to spend some time on.
Right.
And after I get all my reports written and all my orders are verified and I get everybody tucked in for the night, I might just find a quiet corner and slap a little paint.
I did that at the station. Now, the times I actually got to do it were pretty small.
Right.
I always had some shit in the car. And I would set up in my little area and I would do some painting between calls. And, the thing is, some nights you might get 20 calls and some nights you might get none.
Sure.
And you just never really know how it's going to be. So,
well, James, I'll tell you another story. So one of the guys I work with has got a big 3D printer. And he printed off a dragon that was about, 8 inches, 10 inches long. Sort of an Asian-inspired dragon.
Right.
And he brought it to work, and my boss painted it. And she doesn't paint minis, but she is an artist.
So she saw that and was like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, she knocked the shit out of the park. She used painting techniques that we know that. I mean, she glazed it. There were like tons and tons of thin layers of contrasting, like almost like a glittery type thin paint. And I was looking at it, I was like, holy shit. She really knows her stuff. Like
the best painted miniature in our comic shop was painted by one of the guys who worked there's wife. It's a green dragon, and this chick worked on every individual scale. Like, it must have took her months and months. I talked to the guy occasionally, and I'm like, who painted that? And he's like, my wife. And I said, she highlighted and shaded and did all the every scale is done. It's like, it is so weird to look at because of how perfect it is, you know. It's just,
well, I don't like if people mess around and win a golden demon, you know.
Right. My wife back in the day when I was playing a lot of Warhammer Fantasy, she would help me paint my figures. I play Dark Elves, and there's a lot of really cool Dark Elf figures to paint, you know. So paint up some of those Witch Elves, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Especially the 100%. Old ones that weren't worried about, you know, having big boobs and no tops.
Oh, the ones that have their nips hanging out, yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that,
it's like the demonettes used to be just buck naked.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they had to throw clothes on them, which is okay. I get it. Kids or whatever. But on the other hand, why should kids be playing with demons? Which is worse.
It's true.
You know?
Right.
I mean, you're afraid of the kid seeing nipples, but you're okay with him playing like a demonic army devoted to hedonism and all the worst shit, you know. Like,
exactly.
It's like let's think about this for a minute.
How many of the 7 deadly sins can we commit at once here?
Well, I mean, I talk shit, but my demon army that I actually own is Slaanesh. I've got the Keeper's Secrets. I've got the Herald. I've got the other Herald that's got the heart made out of a man's nervous system.
Yeah, I remember you had one of the Age of Sigmar ones you were going to try to proxy in. I remember that.
Yeah, I had to rebase it. It was the named Herald, and it ended up I could proxy it in as a demon of Slaanesh, like a greater demon. I just had to put on a different base.
That's no problem at all.
Yeah, it was like, okay. I don't know. A part of me has always been kind of all about, of all the Chaos Power Slaanesh, I've always thought was like the worst, but also kind of the coolest. Like Khorne is boring. Tzeentch is whatever. Nurgle is what I would play if I wanted to win.
All right. Well, I never told you how I got into this Nurgle army. I think
you said somebody gave you miniatures, right?
Yeah, they were like super cheap. Somebody had like a Star Collecting box for like less than $100 or something, because it was the old one that had all of the Poxwalkers in it. Then when they just sucked in the game, they're actually good in the game now.
Right.
But for a long time they sucked and they couldn't give them away. And I was like, all right, those look like they're really hard to paint. I don't care if I win or not.
Doing good. I had a fun trip. I went up into the mountains.
Didn't get raped.
Well, I carry a gun at all times. See, the thing about Eastern Kentucky and where I live specifically, I own the 30 acres, right? And I don't have any neighbors for a long while. So if I'm walking through my property and I find another human being up there, I would assume there's a negative reason for that person being there, unless they're one of my relatives, and I would know that, you know.
Somebody opened up a grow operation on your property.
Cooking meth heads or something up there. You know,
cooking
you can meth with just some chemicals in a 2-liter bottle, right?
Sure.
They call it the
Well, I
knockdown method.
wasn't. I was at one time. Wasn't like marijuana Kentucky's biggest cash crop
Yeah, that was the 80s and 90s. People would go into the Daniel Boone National Forest and just find a little area,
and grow
set
pot?
her up, and go, man.
Yeah, I remember. I remember. I
But
remember that.
what ended up happening is certain motorcycle clubs started using Kentucky as their area to produce meth, and then
Uh
they
huh.
ship it to wherever they sell it. But of course, some people local get hooked on it too, right? So that's why I always joke about, you leave your house for 25 minutes and they'll have all the copper pipes out of it.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because,
Oh, I know that.
and sadly, it's the further east you go in Kentucky. Like by the time you get to Pikeville, which is right next to West Virginia, yeah, don't leave your house. Have a big fence and dogs because about a third of the population is 100% on meth or oxys. Same damn thing.
Right.
And they'll rob you blind in a second. But when I was up on the mountain, you guys couldn't see because I wasn't showing off, but I had my Smith and Wesson Hellcat on me, which is
Sure.
a very compact, full 9mm, though, double stack. So I had 16
Right.
rounds in. And I didn't run into anybody because, even though I had a lady when I stopped in Georgia and she asked me what I'd been doing, I told her because I'm a very talkative guy. And the first thing she asked is, "Did you see a Bigfoot?" I'm like, no. She's like, there's Bigfoots in Kentucky. And I said, well, the Cherokee called him the hairy man. But yeah, I've heard that. She's like, yeah.
There's Bigfoots everywhere.
And I'm like, well, I'm not going to call you wrong. Just because I ain't seen it don't mean it don't exist. But I have been all over those woods there. I ain't ever seen. I have had some weird idea where I was walking around and I got that feeling like something was staring at me.
Yeah.
You get that like tingle, But
Sure.
I never saw what it was, and I wasn't worried because I had my AK on me too. So it was like, if they snipe me, then I die and don't know it. And if they come out and try something, I got a clash on me, and we'll see how that works out.
Right.
Because Kentucky is pretty much open carry. You don't need unless you're a felon, you can
Right.
back heat in Kentucky.
Sure.
We went into a diner and like everybody in the diner had a pistol hanging off their hip like it was the Wild West.
Nice. It's like Arizona, for crying out loud.
Yep. And it didn't bother me a bit. And I was like, all right, whatever.
It doesn't bother me. Doesn't just because that's it. Just I don't like to draw that much attention to myself.
Right. That's why Kentucky and Florida, big difference is Florida, everyone conceal carries and it's legal.
Right.
You don't need a license or anything, but
Right.
you're not allowed to open carry.
Right. That's how Utah was for a long time. Utah, you could concealed carry, but you couldn't open carry.
Right.
But now I think everybody just does whatever they want because we've become the Wild West too.
Well, you are the Wild West, man. Utah. Yeah, that
It
is
used to be.
West.
We were civilized.
I mean, didn't Utah try to become its own independent state or nation or something?
No, yeah, and it was weird because during the Civil War, Utah was actually pro-Confederacy, which a lot of folks don't know. But Utah's weird, man. Utah just does its own thing. Because we're like, but yeah, I mean, where I live is pretty civilized.
Are you familiar at all with like the angry tabletop nerd Holy Diver?
Yeah, he lives like down the street from me.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't know he lived down the street by his.
I don't know. No, I mean, he might live in the next town over, James, and I don't know him personally, but I will tell you with 100% surety that we do have real life friends in common.
I believe it.
But I've never met him. The gym he goes to is owned by a couple of friends of mine.
Huh. Well,
and guys that because that world, that whole MMA world is pretty small,
right?
And he trains he trains in boxing,
Yeah, he's
Thai
got like
boxing
a
too.
Filipino guy or whatever that's teaching him.
Yeah. So he was training down with my bros Feck and Seppi, who are Polynesians.
Oh,
But
maybe I mistook the Polynesians for
yeah, he was. I know he was training with my buddies Seppu and Fecky, who I knew years ago when I started training.
right.
And they own a gym that's down in Salt Lake proper. I haven't seen them in years. I keep wanting to go, but because they're Polynesians, you never know when their damn gym's open or not. They're
Yeah,
known to keep they're known to keep Polynesian hours.
yeah. Holy Diver's a good guy. I like him a lot. I used to.
Um,
Now, I don't know what you think about anything this, but I can tell you when I was 14 years old, I worked a summer on the Florida Deseret Ranch.
okay,
They had a summer program.
right.
And even though I'm not Mormon or anything, I got hired and I made $1.14 an hour and
Hmm.
I worked 3 days a week and as a cowboy, which meant, fixing barbed wire fences more than anything. But
Right.
and I had a great time. And I was friends with a guy I called Tater Porter, who apparently went on to become some huge rodeo champion,
Uh huh.
Timothy Porter or something, but we all called him Tater. And so that's my claim to fame is I know a guy who went on to become famous for riding bulls.
Riding bulls, huh?
Well, that on the desert ranch every year they had like their own little desert ranch rodeo,
Uh huh.
and it was full on. I mean, it was full on. It was a rodeo for real. You had cowboys and bull riding and the whole shit going on there. And two of my cousins who did convert to Mormonism and worked out there got severely injured bull riding.
That's too
But
bad.
no, it happens. I mean, you
Well,
can't even do that.
I know what happens, but doesn't
It sucks that it happens.
riding saddle broncs and riding bulls. My dad rode saddle broncs,
Right.
and it messed him up.
Yeah, my one cousin got his whole face smashed in, and when they put his face back together, now he always looks like he just ran 20 miles. Like the skin is always really flush
Right.
because it did some brain damage, and his blood pressure won't go below a certain level because his
Right.
brain is like, oh, but there's my brother. But you know what? That's what they wanted to do, and that's what they loved. So
Where's your brother?
Hungar.
Where? In the chat?
He just said brother in chat.
Oh,
He
I
always
can't see the chat.
refers to me like we're space marines. So, it's like, brother,
Ha.
avenge me, brother. Yep. We hung out and played Escape from the Dark Castle a lot. And if you've never heard of that game, it is like a super simple, super easy, super fun game where you set up a random dungeon that's cards,
Huh?
and then you pick a player character to play, and then you flip a card, and that's the room or the encounter, and then you have to battle whatever's there. And, then you get your treasure. Hello there, everyone. But are you in black? I am actually wearing all black today, except for the white stripes, because
Because you're gonna do the Slav squat in a minute.
I can do that actually. Uh, Even at my age, I can still do that. And you know the deal: hills down, comrade is found. Hills in the air, Western spy, or hills in the sky is a Western spy. That's how it goes.
Right. No, I know how to. I know how to. I can squat. I can still squat and put my heels on the ground.
And apparently that come from Russians going to prison and there being nowhere to sit and not wanting to put your ass on the frozen ground. So they learn to squat.
Makes sense.
Also, from a squatting position, you can very easily stand up and defend yourself because it's just boom, you stand up, right?
Right. 100%.
Yep. Yep. We went up there and I got to go out to lunch with my dad and Haas. And that's an inside family joke because one time we went out to lunch and my dad says, I'm so glad to be out to lunch with my son and Haas.
And I was
Haas
like,
was
wow.
what the fuck? You know? And then he told everyone at my dad's church. So now they razz my dad.
I got a cat.
So you seen your son and Haas lately?
I got a cat.
You got a cat.
You got it.
I got a big old orange cat, and I named him Lord Chungus, ruler of all that I see.
Okay. Well, I got something even.
What is it with an orange cat? I don't know.
They're very common. I have a miniature that someone sent me for free. I'm not 100% sure who. And it's Princess Donut.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right.
Sitting on a throne. So anyone who knows about Dungeon Crawler Carl, I have Princess Donut.
Dungeon Crawler Carl has become a freaking phenomenon at my work. My I don't know why. It's like it's at the VA. It's a unit at the VA, and for some reason, they're all reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, and they all want to play D&D. Of course, they all want to play 5th edition because they don't know any better. But I'm going to convert them over sooner or later. And they're painting minis, and they got the veterans painting minis. This guy's got this 3D printer, and he's printing off minis, and he's like trying to get the vets involved. And we're going to have a mini painting group on the not on the psych ward, the next one at the residential rehab. So you got all these vets in rehab, and we're all going to start painting minis together.
Well, Carl's a veteran, Coast Guard, but still a veteran. He did serve.
And I would think, just my opinion, that would be a great hobby. I mean, being a veteran myself that had to deal with stuff, I've found painting to be a tremendous help. So, I mean, I think that's an amazing idea. That's definitely something that they should look into, you know.
I said that if we can get the minis 3D printed, and if I can get someone to donate even just the paints and not the good brushes, just some cheap rose art brushes, not cheap, but rose art brushes are $3 or $4 a piece or whatever. Not,
50 for $5 off of freaking Amazon.
Yeah, so something like that. Then I said I would, be willing to sit down for, maybe once or twice a month or whatever, and just go over some techniques.
Hell yeah.
I mean, on the clock, of course, but
yeah.
No, but man. I said, yeah, sure, man. I'll conduct a little painting group, and we just sit around and paint bullshit.
Well, you are a bow. You are a bow, and you do paint minis.
I am a bow, and I do paint minis. Except today,
I'm an amazing idea anyway. Just because I find painting to be very therapeutic.
Yeah, that is a great idea.
And you're doing your thing, and
it is certainly cathartic. It gives you a lot of time to just sit and think, or not think. Think about it's good for clearing out the old brain.
And Dungeon Crawler Carl is just hilarious.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, everyone. I read the first half of the first one because my buddy, the guy with the 3D printer, my buddy Sean, he's a nurse. And he's on the day shift, which is a whole different thing, day shift versus night shift.
Right.
But he left the book at the desk one day. He said, "Do you want to read it?" I said, "Well, I'll see what I can do." And I read about half of it in one night while there was kind of nothing else going on. And he said, "Well, do you want to finish it?" I said, "Well, Sean, I tell you what, I don't believe in borrowing books. So don't leave your book with me because you might never see it again."
Yeah,
that is a thing that happens.
So I said, I never finished it, but I said, everyone at my office is reading them or has read them.
Yeah, my sister-in-law told me about it. And I was like, what? And she actually was down because they visited a lot, her and her husband, and they found the audiobook on YouTube for like the first week.
Oh, right.
So they just put it on, and I'm sitting there, and it's going through the achievement unlocked and all that kind of shit.
Right.
How you doing, Daniel? And William, I said hi, but hi again. And Satya, of course. So yeah, I mean, I sat and listened to, and then I went on Audible and I got the audiobooks because if I'm not doing this when I'm painting, I'm listening to audiobooks.
Oh,
Sure.
Bruce asked about you yesterday. He's like,
Who?
I haven't seen Bruce Lombardo.
I
He's like,
actually watched him
Oh.
late last night. He was on
He's
with
like-
Ty.
Yeah, he's like, I hadn't seen your brother on for a while. Is everything okay? I was like, yeah, he went up to Kentucky to visit my parents' house, and I got to spend a whole weekend with him. He's like, oh, that's the greatest thing ever, man. I wish I'd have been there with you guys.
Well, I wish he would have too, but he lives in freaking South Texas, so
Yeah.
probably not gonna happen.
And he was wearing my Hungar.
To her baby shower, and it's like, you live in West Texas.
He was wearing my Hungar seal of approval shirt.
When I saw him, he was wearing the DM James riding a giant Pomeranian.
Yeah,
with a flag that said Hyperborea on it.
Those are his two. That he loves those two shirts. And the one with me eating dinosaur meat with the two chicks behind me.
And then, like, I have talked to Janet more than I've talked to Bruce lately.
Yeah.
And they're on my Discord, so I don't know. I know he's busy and he's going through a lot, though. So
yeah, I might text him later to see what he's doing.
Yeah, and I hung out with Shadow last night on his late night. It was me and George, and eventually,
Yeah, I watched part of it, but what happened was it was chore night.
Oh.
And so I was actually cleaning the man cave, and then we were doing a deep clean on the kitchen.
See, it's too bad you live in Arizona. I'd ask you to come over and help me clean the man cave.
I live in Utah, but yeah, I would help. I would definitely be cleaning the man cave.
Utah is beautiful.
So right behind me, and I'm in this, in my man cave. Right behind me are some cupboards that had collapsed a while back, and I had to put everything up on shelves instead.
Right.
And I got some of the big industrial racking for all my hobby stuff, and some of I've still got. And then I was digging through last night looking for that Dungeons and Lasers terrain that I knew I had for my army board.
Mm-hmm.
And then about the time I got all that cleaned up, I got called upstairs to scrub the stove and the.
Yeah, I saw your unboxing video from the stuff you got from Shadwell.
Yeah, when is yours? I got you got the mother load. You got all the stuff from Emperor's Choice.
I haven't got it yet.
Yeah. You got the one that everybody wanted.
What did he get?
I got like a box set of the Ardoin books. Is that what you got?
Yeah, I got all the new Ardoin books, and I got all the maps.
Yeah, on the maps.
Yeah, George was showing his off because he got some of that.
And I had actually already done the pre-order for the new Ardoin books, so I think I got jinxed. I already paid for them, so I wasn't going to get free ones.
And then Chris Dymark got Hyperborea.
Yes, he did, and he was excited.
Well, he came to the channel and started asking lots of questions, and we spent like 3 hours.
It's
which
Mike.
was a great 3 hours.
Mike, Mike, and
Mike Dymark.
What's his wife's name?
Raven. I don't know
I
what her
can't
real
remember.
name is, but her internet handle is like Raven and some numbers.
They're the nicest people.
I never even knew he had a wife. And I saw her
I
the other
did.
night, and she's like, I'm Mike's wife. I was like, he never even mentioned having a wife. I didn't even know. But okay, cool.
Bingo, I love that picture you sent to the group chat.
Uh,
This is Natya, 25-year-old Russian.
Oh yeah. My wife said I needed to find something to.
Penile enlarger.
Yeah, I need to find something to enlarge my penis. And then it's a picture of a hot Russian chick. I'm like, so I did. Here's Nacha. She's 25-year-old, or Nadia. She's 25 and from Russia. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I've known a few of those girls, and yeah, they might help you with that, but they're always pretty high maintenance.
I've had
Russian girl.
thoughts about Western men trying to date Russian women.
My first wife was from Slovakia, which is technically just Russia, because she was
Well,
my
they're
age. So,
Slavs, but they're
Slavs.
They're Western Slav.
no, because she was there when it was Czechoslovakia and part of Russia.
But it's still
USSR, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
still a subtly different culture. But
And
anyway,
it's
go
still-
on. She's a Slav.
She, yeah, high maintenance.
And any man they date has to be like the most manly man in every room they ever walk into.
Yeah,
Yep.
They're like that. I mean, so many Western dudes try to hook up with like Eastern European women, and almost every guy I know who did, except my brother, chick ends up getting knocked up, has a kid, leaves, and now you got child support. And then she finds some guy who makes a lot more money than you and marries him.
Yep. They do like money.
They do like that. So I always say, these commercials, hey, Ukrainian women looking for love. No, don't do it.
women looking for a green card.
Yeah, looking for a green card and child support for 18 years.
18 years. 18 years. You got one of your kids got you for 18 years.
Yeah, and that's right. You better be a very traditional man.
The lady I got my Pomeranian from had like a 14-year-old son and was single. I knew what was up as soon as we went over and looked at the Pom.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I was born in St. Petersburg, and this is my son. And I'm like, where's your husband? Oh, I don't have a husband. I was like, okay, whatever. I ain't talking about it anymore. It's not my business. I came here to get a dog, But I knew because I know. The only time you want to marry a Russian woman is if you've got a decent amount of money and they want you to live in Russia. If she says she wants to come to America, flee for your life. Because that shit is.
It goes with all foreign chicks, like Filipinos, Filipino chicks. If they want you to move to the Philippines and live with them, yeah, you got a good one.
Yeah, you're main. But I'll tell you what. Remember my buddy Scuba Steve? He had a Filipino wife, and he was constantly trying to hook me up. There was like a Filipino club of women.
Yeah,
and they were constantly looking for American men because they find American men to be more attractive than Filipino men.
Yeah, because we have different facial features.
And I told him, I'm married, right? What are you doing, dude? And he's like, oh, okay.
Like, you should have been, but you need to meet my brother.
Yeah, could have.
I got.
want to inflict that shit on a Filipino lady?
And also, if you cross them, they'll stab you.
Man, I would have had like a brood of half Filipino babies running around. It would have been awesome.
Well, our nephew is working on it, so.
Yeah. But he's in New Zealand.
To move to New Zealand to marry a Filipino woman.
Yikes. No, I'm not moving to New Zealand.
He loves it.
He needed to, and he loves it. Like, there was nothing for him in America but prison. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, his brother died.
His brother had already OD'd. He did not have a good destiny laying ahead. And New Zealand back then, this has been 20 years, they had this weird rule where Americans could immigrate to New Zealand and you just had to work where they told you to work for X amount of years.
Right.
So he went over there and they immediately put his ass to work on a sheep farm. And he stayed there. And they eventually gave him citizenship and full medical and everything. He married an Australian woman who turned out to be a real whore. So they got divorced. And then a couple of years later, he married a Filipino woman. They've been together and happy, got a kid, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, one of my
whatever you do not get involved with Australians. They're not good girls.
Yeah, and now he works with like troubled youths.
Yep. Well, once you get past, I think it's 7 years, he said. Once you do your 7 years and you become a citizen, then you can do whatever the hell you want. Just go bump.
Right.
And yeah, so he lives
One of
near
my
Christchurch, I think.
one of my former coworkers immigrated to New Zealand. I think to get away from. I think to dodge bill collectors. But he's a nurse, and at the time, if you were a nurse, you can get into New Zealand real easily. This was
That's
like
why we got so many
6 or 7 years ago.
Right.
So we got so many Filipino nurses over here because that's like, you're a Filipino nurse, come on.
Well,
Well, it's like the one job that Filipino girl. I don't know. I've known a lot of Filipino nurses.
Yeah.
It's like that's their ticket out of poverty.
Right.
We all want one of those.
A ticket out.
Ticket out of poverty.
Yeah, and a Filipino nurse.
Oh.
You want a
I
bed
don't know.
bath?
They annoy me.
You want a bed bath, Haas? Don't look at me.
You know the number of times I've showed up at a nursing home at like 3 a.m. and some Filipino nurse told me she had no idea whose patient it was I was there to see. And when I push her on it, she starts talking about how she just came on shift. I'm like, you just came on shift at 3 a.m. And then they just don't understand you, even though you know they do. And it's just like, okay, whatever. Just load this bastard. What's the primary thing? Oh, he's got an altered mental status. And you're like, he's in the Alzheimer's ward.
Oh, that's what we call in the business a dump.
So
So what happens is they'll have a patient in a memory unit or an Alzheimer's unit or some kind of sniff, ALF, and the nursing staff there decided they don't want to deal with this shit anymore for whatever reason. So they'll call EMS, and EMS will take them to the ER. And despite that patient is not any kind, they're a neuro patient. They're not a psych patient.
Right.
And there's a world of difference between a neuro patient and a psych patient, but they got no place to put them in the hospital.
And then
they'll dump them in the psych ward. They will dump them in the psych ward because there's no amount of antipsychotics that's going to make an 80-year-old psych patient, Alzheimer's patient. We're not going to cure him by giving him Lamictal.
Yeah, but the thing is, nursing home nurses aren't real nurses.
Well, no, they have an RN on duty, and then a bunch of LPNs and CNs and CNAs, and then like we had one nurse at one nursing home, and we always knew when she was on shift because about 8 o'clock in the morning we'd start getting the calls. She just emptied the ward, and then we take them to our ER. And the ER nurses act like we wanted to bring them there. And they
exactly
a little bit of tude, because they're like, what? You're going, and sometimes they like try to make us hold the wall and shit. And that's when you would get the little bit of firefighter on nurse hostility, but not really.
Well, if you're picking on ER nurses, that's fine, because I hate ER nurses with a bloody passion.
Do you?
Yeah, because they lie.
Well, I have
sure, the patient's stable, ambulatory, alert, interactive, stable vitals. We're going to go ahead and transport them right now. And they always want to clear out the ER at their shift change.
Right.
So at their shift change, they're sending folks all over town to fill up every single ward. And they're never appropriate, really. But that's okay. And the patient's never appropriate for where they're sending them.
Well, the one thing I know about ER nurses, not all of them before somebody gets mad and wants to beat me up, is that they totally are sluts. A lot of
ER nurses are the number one cause of divorce with nurses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nurses cheat. I don't know any personally that do. Again, because I work at the VA and it's a totally different animal. Most of our nurses are more mature because it's kind of harder to get a job at the VA. They don't hire a lot of new grads.
Yeah,
they want to hire nurses that are more
female nurse at the ER that's talking to firemen all day. Get out of here. I hope you're not married to her because that shit is not working out.
nursing is the number one occupation for infidelity in women.
That's what I've heard.
Well, one,
Google it.
you've got the nurses that are trying to hook up with a doctor because that's like cashing. That's like cashing in the lottery. And two, you've got all the muscular, young, fit firemen coming in all day, and that's just whatever. And they say something about dealing with death makes them horny or some shit. So,
Oh, well, no, it's the adrenaline dump makes you horny.
right. So ER nurses, I never did because, like I said, I'm married and I'm a good man, or at least I try to be. But I've had to wait in the ambulance for my partner to get done out of the freaking broom closet or whatever.
Hospitals are weird because in one room you have a baby being born, in another room you have a son saying bye to his father for the last time, in another room you have some guy with a GI Joe stuck up his butt. I mean, it's the circle of life.
My favorite
Yeah,
is getting caught out.
hospitals. I never understood how hospitals make folks randy, because to me hospitals are gross.
I've had
They're-
nurses climb into bed with me while I was in the hospital.
Yeah. I
Uh,
never
what-
have because I wouldn't allow that shit. Just like the female firefighters I worked with, any of them that tried to flirt with me, I shut that shit down. Right.
But they were all lesbians.
Well, you got two kinds of female firefighters. You got lesbians, and then you got firefighter groupies that got the job so they could have easy access to the firefighters. And I can say pretty much definitively that almost every single female firefighter I knew had been ran through by like every one of the dudes at the station that wanted it.
Freaking comfort troops.
So it's like the army, how you got barracks bunnies. Same thing. And then the cops got their own brand of groupies that usually
badge
end up
bunnies.
working in dispatch.
All right.
But they all are completely, banging cops. And then female cops, at least down here, the female cops in our local department were all sleeping with firefighters.
Well, here all the female cops I knew here were lesbians.
Well, I'm saying the non-lesbians.
Oh, right. I'm saying I don't know if I knew any
switch-dyed lesbians in our department, and they were married to women, and they didn't do any of that shit. But then the normal, like 5'10" blonde that got into the fire service because of her looks, not because she could actually throw a 24-foot ladder. She's going through the whole department, man, and will end up being your chief.
Right, get promoted up. They fail up.
Yep.
Can't throw that
day as a paramedic and got promoted to be the chief of paramedics. And we were all just like, okay, whatever. It's not worth fighting for. Get your 20 and out. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm gonna go make dinner, brother.
You do that. Yeah, get your 20 and out and get on down the road, and they can do whatever the hell they want with themselves.
I'm thinking gyoza and fried rice.
Gyoza and fried rice. Isn't gyoza just like Japanese dumplings?
Yeah, they're dumplings.
Okay. I'm just wondering why you had to use a fancy word.
Because I call it what they are.
Dumplings.
And you're having dumplings with rice. It's like having extra carbs. I'd like some carbs on my carbs with a side of carbs.
I was thinking that too.
It says gyoza on the bag, so I call it gyoza.
Hey, you do you, bro.
Oh, I might do curry. Yeah.
We ain't judging. All I'm saying is it's a lot of carbs.
Curry.
Well, it is.
I have a very limited amount of things that I can eat.
No, I 100%. I mean, I'm not as bad as you, but I do have some. I have EOE, but I'm also pre-diabetic.
Nice.
So I don't eat. I'm so limited on what I can eat. It sucks so much.
I can't eat vegetables. That really sucks.
Oh yeah. Well, I have okay. So here you go. I have a hard time eating meat. I have a hard time swallowing meat because my throat's so jacked up. But at the same time, I can't do carbs because carbs spike my blood sugar. so I can't do protein or carbs.
I can't eat anything that is.
Homeboy's got to live on fiber.
I can't eat fiber because I have no guts.
Right. We know. Everybody knows.
We know. Everybody knows. In fact, we haven't seen any videos of you from a hospital bed recently, so I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, I haven't. I've only been in the hospital like 6 or 7 times this year, which was pretty good.
Go cook your dinner.
Oh well, I love you, brother. It was so
Well,
awesome to see
I was
you.
gonna say we love you so much. So take it easy.
And I love
Take
you,
it greasy. Take it sleazy.
Try
I got my ostrich shirt in last Wednesday.
Nice. And you need
And
to
I
save that money and get that rifle before
Yes,
I put a foot in your non-functional anus.
I got my ID the other day.
Okay.
Wait, we're buying guns now?
No.
Yes.
No.
All right. See you guys later.
Yeah, don't. I don't play with guns.
They're fun as fuck. I play with them.
Hey. No, he pawned a rifle that he shouldn't have pawned.
Oof. Yikes.
So
Hope he gets it back.
Take that shit out.
I hope he gets it back. Yeah.
Well, he's been paying on it, which is the stupid thing.
Right.
The guy who owns the pawn shop is making a killing because, you got to pay however much every month or he gets to sell it. So it's like he's holding that shit hostage,
Right.
And it's a rifle I sold to him on the agreement that if he ever wanted to get rid of it, he had to sell it.
He'd sell it back to you. Yeah.
So
there was
miscommunication there somewhere, and I had to talk to him about it. That's all. And here's Timmy, my fellow Commonwealth friend from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. How you doing, Timmy? Awful quiet today.
Wait, did that work? Yeah, there it goes.
He's all right.
Sorry. My headset's a little bit weird.
Yeah, you're a little bit weird.
that one coming.
My good wireless headset kind of has one earphone that doesn't work, so now I'm having to use 2.
So, Timmy, did you see me on my mountain?
Yep.
Now you know.
Very familiar.
Now you know.
Yep.
Oh, you know the cabin in Evil Dead 1 and 2?
Yeah.
That's about 30 minutes from where I live in Tennessee.
Ah.
I think the town in Tennessee is like Middleborough. And if I go down 65 from London by Williamsburg, it's literally like a 35-minute, 40-minute drive. Now it's gone because apparently someone burned it to the ground. There's a couple of rumors about it. And all that is left is the freaking chimney. But
that's it.
But see, once again, proving Appalachia is weird. Because the guys from Michigan, of all the places they could have put that cabin and got attacked with Kandaharian demons, they put it right in the middle of Appalachia.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. I was like, makes sense. Because wasn't that the story? They were all students from University of Michigan, and they're on a vacation. And I watched it last night, and there's a point where the one guy said, Ash, where are we at? And Ash is like, well, we just crossed the border into Tennessee. And I'm like, so they just left Kentucky into Tennessee. And I did a Google search. Where was the cabin? And it's like, it literally in real life was in Middleborough. And that's 10 minutes away from the Kentucky border.
Well, yeah, you having to find ticks on you. That's a very familiar thing.
Oh,
watch out for Lyme disease.
Yeah, they were those red spotted deer ticks. I ended up pulling about 5 off. And then I had my wife check all the spots I couldn't check. Well, no, that's what you do. That's what
I know. It just sounds funny to say it. Hey, honey, will you check my taint?
No, I can check that. I mean, my back and stuff,
Yep.
But they were all in my armpits anyway because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Ticks love your armpits because I guess the heat or something. If they can get to Plus, my lower half, I was wearing my thick tactical jeans with the big knee pad stuff on them. And I had my, like I said, I had my Milwaukee leather riding boots, like ropers. And those things were tucked. Everything was tucked and everything. So these ticks were getting in through the sleeves of my t-shirts.
Right.
And the weird thing about them is, like, you don't feel them.
Nope.
Right.
Like, they're walking on you, you don't feel them. You know.
So does any of the
Go ahead.
bug repellent work on ticks?
Oh, I don't know, but I'm not going to spray myself down with something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that's going to do. I'll face the ticks, but
I'm not. Well, I know that
I actually killed. I was sitting there with my computer doing the recording by those big rocks, right? And a tick walked across the keyboard of my computer while I was recording. So I like grabbed it and squished it against the rock. And I tried to show everybody, like, but I don't know if anybody actually could see it because, you know. But then when I got home, jacked myself up a little bit, Timmy. That was
that'll
an
happen.
oak tree decided to go ahead and take the hide off of me. And when I got home, I pulled my shirt off and lifted my arms up, and it was like, you know, like,
right.
throw them in the sink and crush them. And they were those like red with a spot on the back deer ticks.
Yeah.
So, but you are right. They can give you all kinds of shit.
Lyme disease.
Yeah, you know, they
I
can give
hear
you shit
most
you
of the
don't
time.
want. Now, what I lucked out on, Timmy knows. I don't know if you know because I don't know if they exist in Utah, but I didn't get any chiggers.
Oh no, we don't have chiggers here. It's too cold for chiggers.
Chiggers and turkey mites. Turkey mites are worse.
Yeah, those things will get, like you said, all up in your taint and everywhere, and just dig in. And they're so tiny you can't hardly even see them.
Yep.
But they get in there and they'll just tear you up, man. They are the worst.
Yeah, they are.
See, at least with a tick, you can see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know it's there. You're like, okay, you little bastard. But those things. So you got paint everywhere you get a red dot. You paint over it with like fingernail polish.
Yeah.
Try and kill them. Saw a ton of groundhogs. Didn't kill any of them. Saw a ton. Now there was a time in my past when I ate groundhogs quite often, but I was poor then too. So
My dad always talks about eating squirrel.
oh, we used to eat squirrel all the time, man. And
Yeah.
squirrel in Kentucky. Hey, what's up, Crafting Gamer? How you doing, bro? Squirrel in Kentucky are way bigger than squirrel in Florida, so it's actually worthwhile to eat Kentucky squirrel.
Right.
But
right.
Florida squirrel, it's like basically by the time you skin it, you're eating a mouse. It's like
Right.
into that shit. It's the same with deer. I've seen a Florida deer jump through a barbed wire fence, and it didn't jump over it.
Jump through it.
Jump through it. I mean, that's how little they are. That bastard went between the wires.
That's how they are in South Carolina too.
And it's just like,
But in South Carolina, the limit on deer is like 40. 40.
Right.
But and especially if you go during the doe hunt, but they're so small, but they taste so good that, man, the deer in South Carolina compared to the deer in Utah tastes like scrub and sage. Deer in South Carolina tastes like grass finished beef.
right. Well,
I imagine it's probably not that much difference.
Venison for sure, but in Kentucky, we got bigger deer. Probably not as big as Utah deer, but they're pretty big.
Yeah, they're pretty
Utah
big.
deer are big, but they're not worth eating because they said they taste like sage. They taste like scrub because that's what they eat.
Kentucky deer are pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, I think they're good. A lot of my cousins, they'll kill a deer and just take the back strap off and throw the rest away.
No, that's bad.
And I'm like, what are you doing? But
Yeah.
they
Wasteful.
just want the back strap, which is the loin, basically. It's
Right, the back, the tenderloin.
And I'm all like, so I had them start giving me some of that shit. You know?
If you're gonna kill it anyway, just give me some the rest.
Well, my favorite way to eat venison is actually just to cube it up and stew it in like a
That's
crock
good.
pot for like 8 hours. And that gets rid of any toughness, any gaminess at all. You know, you put enough garlic in there and fuck it, right? Excuse my language, but you know, put enough garlic in there, that'll fix whatever your issue is.
I also
And,
kind of want more
and
deer
it's good.
jerky. I miss having deer jerky.
We made deer sausage, which is really just half venison and half pork sausage, like fatback.
Hmm.
And then sometimes we put jalapeno in it just to give it a little bit.
Well, yeah.
My grandparents would actually make deer jerky, and it was delicious.
Yeah. But deer, like a lot of animals, is not something. I mean, you have to add fat,
Yeah.
Right.
like a rabbit. So, what you up to, crafting gamer? I'm glad you're good. We're just sitting here BSing around on a beautiful Sunday.
Yeah.
Nice Sunday evening now, right?
I'm fixing to go. I'm fixing to go make supper too because I only eat now again because of the stupid pre-diabetes. I only eat basically between about 4 and 6 or 5 and 6 or five and 7. Pardon me, because I got to do the intermittent fasting to keep my blood sugar from spiking.
I feel you. You know what fixed my pre-diabetes is I lost 80 pounds.
I weigh 168 damn pounds.
Yeah, so your situation's totally different. I had pre-diabetes, but it was from being a fat ass, right? And so they put me on some metformin, and I went on this like just basically a carno diet where all I ate was meat and beans and greens like spinach.
That's really what I'm trying to do.
And the weight just fell off. And then when I went in and got my blood work done again, the doctor was like, "Your A1C is like 5.1." I was like, "Okay,
That's awesome."
yeah." So
No, I'm doing.
Don't get me wrong. I do not eat candy. I do not drink sodas. I don't carb up like crazy style, like certain brothers of mine. I don't eat rice unless it's very little, like on sushi. So I still live that way. It is a lifestyle, you know.
Sure.
And if you stop, then you'll go right back to being all like I was A1C 9 point something.
Ouch.
Yeah, walking around with a blood sugar over 600. Like, that's not good, man. And I take it serious because as a firefighter, you know how many diabetic issues I've ran on?
100%.
Like 5 a day at least, every shift.
I get you.
Because
ketoacidosis
are non-compliant. They don't understand that shit will kill you. You will die.
100%. Yep.
Graphic gamers trying to learn how to make suit ink. I've seen partially how that works.
Well, I'm just saying,
take care of yourself because you know this is all you got.
Suit ink. Yeah, I mean the suit's the pigment, and then whatever you're using as a medium. I mean, I knew people who used to use suit to give themselves tattoos. They mix suit with like alcohol or something, and then that was like the tattoo ink or whatever.
All right.
I mean, guys are sitting around the house drunk doing jailhouse tattoos on each other, you know.
Yikes.
I wouldn't recommend it, but
you get hepatitis.
Yeah, you will. And I always tell people that too, because I was talking to my sister-in-law and she's like, we're talking about bloodborne diseases. And she mentioned like HIV. And I told her, I said, be honest. HIV is not easy to catch. You got to go out of your way, really, right? But hepatitis will jump your ass in a dark alley. You don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Because like
I know what you're saying.
HIV will not live outside the human body for more than a little bit.
And the HIV has become a chronic illness. I mean, you can live for 50 years with
just take
with HIV.
Go out freaking hang gliding and whatever you want. But hepatitis, if you get one drop of blood on the bench in the back of a rescue and it's got hepatitis, that shit will remain active for like a month. And that means if you get it on you and it any kind of way gets through your barrier, your skin, you very easily will have hepatitis. It's really the scary disease. But yeah, HIV, you got to work to get HIV, man. Well, I mean, back in the day when you had so many hemophiliacs, they didn't work for it. They just got it and killed them all. Unfortunately, that's why you don't see a lot of hemophiliacs anymore, because in the 80s they all died of AIDS because they
From
didn't use
blood transfusions. Well, they got tons of blood transfusions too.
That's exactly how it got them. Is they back then they weren't checking the blood for HIV. So if a guy cut himself and started bleeding bad, like hemophiliacs do, and he went in a hospital and they gave him whole blood, and it come from somebody that had HIV, guess who has HIV now? You do. And
Which reminds me of the Family Guy. You have AIDS. Not HIV, but the full-blown AIDS. You've got the AIDS.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to hell.
Yeah, the freaking barbershop quartet come in there.
Yeah. This is why
I think the world
I am going.
one.
Look, having a sense of humor doesn't mean you're going to hell.
No.
You'll be fine. I mean, at least in my opinion, which you probably shouldn't bet your soul on. But anyway, if you don't laugh, you'd cry. So I think it's better to laugh.
Yeah, I might have been making one of my hobbies is making my wife laugh inappropriately.
Same.
And I might have been making jokes about suicide in church today, really quiet, just so she can hear me.
Oh no! See, my favorite thing is to talk dirty to my wife because I love how she blushes, and I'll say like outlandish shit that I know she and I are never going to mess with because we're pretty traditional. But I'll say the most outlandish shit, and she'll turn beet red and threaten to kill me, which I find hilarious for some reason.
Well, that sounds a lot like my cousin.
Yeah,
His wife.
Because she's such a traditional woman, it's like you start talking a bunch of shit to her, and she just don't like it's her brain shuts down. She just doesn't know what to do. So of course I'm going to do it.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's a law. It's a federal law, actually. You don't want to violate federal law.
And then the other thing I told her is that 80% of divorces are filed by women, and the number one reason they give is boredom, right? So from now on, I'm not solving any of her problems. I'm just going to make more problems.
Oh, well, she'll never get bored.
Exactly. She was not super hype about the theory, but she's still with me, so
I'm gonna run that one past my wife and see how far that one goes. Probably go all the way to the doghouse, but
yeah. And then I'm all like, why I get away with as much as I do is I make my wife laugh all the time. I'm constantly making up stupid songs or doing something around the house that I'm basically the court jester in her kingdom.
Yeah.
And because of that, she pretty much leaves me alone, and I can buy miniatures and sit in here and do all whatever I want to do.
I think we lost
It's like as long as I do the chores she asks me to do, which I scrub toilets and floors, by the way, homie. So I feel you when you were talking about what you do. Yeah, I'm the floor and toilet guy. But as long as I keep my chores done, because she's very Germanic when it comes to that, and I make her laugh, yeah, she's never going to leave me. Shit.
I was gonna say, speaking of, I need to go. I promised I'd make my wife spaghetti, and if I don't start the sauce right now, it takes about 5 hours to cook.
Yes, it does.
Uh-oh. You
gotta cook that. You gotta cook that sauce a while to get all that acid and everything out.
I know. I gotta start browning. I gotta start browning the sausage right now.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well,
I forgot. Well, it's a big deal because my my mother-in-law is supposed to be coming over, so I better.
Oh, I'm here a lot.
I know, but I'm comfortable in my big comfy chair.
Yep, but you got to keep your wife comfortable, or you won't be comfortable.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like you're frying chicken. You have some time that you need to get to that,
Yeah, but I'd completely forgotten. I was like, what am I going to do for supper? Oh, shit, that's right. I'm supposed to start.
And I'm not trying to be one of those cucks that's like, just do everything your wife says, but I am being like, try to keep her happy, guys. I mean,
well,
nobody needs that guff. You know what I'm saying? And an angry woman will just be nothing but guff.
I think there's a Bible verse about that.
I got no time for guff. This is a guff-free zone right here.
Something about it's better to live alone than with an angry and tumultuous woman. I think that's in Proverbs.
Bro, have you heard the new Oliver Anthony song, Scornful Woman?
No, I have not.
You know the guy that did Richmond, North of Richmond?
Right. Rich man north of Richmond, yeah.
Well, apparently he got married when he got rich, and then the woman left him, took half his shit, and he
Oh,
wrote a
no.
song, Scornful Woman. Oh, my
Well,
God.
but the thing is, she'll get half of that, too.
Oh, it's such a good song, and it's just like, yep.
Sounds like he's a lot of a mixed bag. I heard one of his songs weren't so good.
Well, I mean, I'm sure, you know. I mean, the thing is when he got famous, everyone thought he was like a super far right guy.
Yeah, he was not.
And then when he pointed out, he was talking about all the politicians, Democrat and Republican, north of
That'll get you in trouble.
Then it pissed off the hardcore Republican guys. But I mean, while I consider myself a hardcore, monarchist really, but it didn't piss me off. I was just
I'd be a monarchist if I could be the king. Wait a minute, who gets to be the king?
divine
right to me.
by divine right.
Yeah, but
Well, that means we have to have a prophet. You have to have somebody who picks the king.
Well, when I say I'm a monarchist, it just means I'm waiting for the Messiah to come back.
That's fair. I would be with you on that.
Yeah,
I'll wait for the second.
I like our system. Don't get me wrong.
But if you're gonna say that, then you're actually that's I can't remember what that'd be called now. Basically a kingdom of God on earth.
Theocracy.
Well, it would not just a theocracy. It would be like a divine theocracy. It'd be because you're gonna argue with a divine being.
Right. We call it orthodoxy because in Orthodox Christianity, the only government mentioned in the Bible is monarchy, and Jesus is the king. But until that happens, we'll just do what we do, right? But
until that happens, we'll just do what we do.
We'll just do what we do with our governments and try to do the best that we can. Because that is really all you can do.
One more guy based and ready to be painted.
Look at you, man. I have just figured out that if I move the legs around on these scorpions I bought, I can fit them on. I guess that's a 50 mil base right there.
I would say it's 40 or 50. Might be 50. Probably 50.
Yeah.
You got if it doesn't, so it's not stamped on the bottom of the base. You've got one of those circle measurements on your base sizes on your cutting mat, probably.
Well, not only that, but I keep a square somewhere on my desk. I've got like a college square triangle,
right?
And because I use it a lot of times to do like straight cuts and stuff.
Sure.
It's a metal one. I find it infinitely useful, for whatever, anytime I need a straight line, I can bust that joker out and make it happen. And I keep these little clips so that when I put the glue on, I can clip him to the base. So I don't have to stand here all night, holding it, hoping that it'll stick.
Yeah, I'm starting to collect more of the craftsman type tools, like some of the what are the 3-in-1 blocks that I can leave things magneted. If I put something on a 3-in-1 block and then use a magnet to stick it while the glue dries.
Yeah, it's pretty much amazing how if you go to like a Home Depot or whatever you got, there's so many cheap tools in there that are absolutely awesome for the hobby. Like another thing is I buy a lot of my pen vices from Home Depot.
Right.
The only time I buy bits for them that I don't get them from Home Depot is when I need the really small ones.
Yeah, I've been buying the really sharp, the PCB bits that are actually made to cut through circuit boards.
Right.
And they cut through plastic really well, but they're so hard that if you sneeze or while you're using it, it'll snap that drill bit.
Yep, I've ran into that problem myself.
But I got on either Amazon or eBay, and you buy the cheap Chinese ones, and I bought like a whole box of just 0.5 millimeter bits, and that way if I because that's the same size as the full wire that I use for pinning, and if I snap one, I just grab the next one in the box. You buy a whole box of like $6.
And that's why I use the brushes I use, because the second they lose the tip and whatever,
Just chuck
the
them.
rest is in the trash and just grab another one.
There you go. Life's too short. All right, but now I'm going to go and open up a couple cans of San Marzano tomatoes and get that shit started.
Fancy.
Well, no, if like the way I look at it, if you can buy it at Walmart, it's not bougie.
Right, that's true.
Fair enough.
And you can buy the yellow cans of the San Marzano tomatoes anywhere.
Right.
You can buy them in the 3-packs. You can buy them in the 3-packs at Costco.
The thing I worry with pasta, the one thing that I make sure of is that any pasta I buy is traditional. What is it? Semolina that has been pressed through a brass.
Yeah, bronze rollers, yeah.
Because
that way it's cooked lower and slower, and it's more flavorful. Yeah, I am 100% with you. You need to make sure that your pasta is
apparently the kind made like that. It's loaded with protein. It's got more fiber. It doesn't jack your blood sugar up so bad and everything. So it's just better for you.
It's just better.
I hear my wife. Do you need help, babe?
Probably. Walmart is crack.
I assume, unless you spend all that time.
One of these days, we need to meet your wife, because I'm 100% curious.
She's a short blonde lady.
I just want to know if how mean she's got to be to put up with your shit.
It's not mean. It's just like very understanding and patient.
Yeah. Is that what you call it?
That's what I call it.
Because I just know how you are, so I just know that she's got to be a freaking saint to put up with that.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. She's pretty much a living saint.
What?
We're just discussing how you have to be a really good person to stay with me. It's been with me almost 25 years.
You are a challenge.
I am a challenge. See, so she'll never get bored.
Okay.
Right? I got her on that. Plus, if you believe in astrology, which I absolutely don't, she's an Aquarius. I'm an Aries. And all the astrology nieces of mine, because, young women love that shit. They're always like, oh, you two are perfect signs. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're totally different. She's a Yankee from Chicago. I'm a hillbilly from Eastern Kentucky. She's Danish. I'm German. Oh, and I found out something. You know how my mom was saying, how could we be German, right? There's a whole town in Eastern Kentucky where they still speak German.
Oh, the whole South. The whole South is full of Germans.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't know that.
There was a huge I know, especially to the South, a huge migration of Germans that came over just before, about the same time, a little bit before as the American Revolution.
Right.
Early 1700s.
In the early 1700s, and it's built on the side of a valley in Eastern Kentucky, and they built it like it was Bavaria. And they still celebrate like German holidays. And it's very small now because a lot of the people who live there have moved
out, or they all died.
Right. But so I showed that to my mom, and I said, you were wondering how I'm 60% German. Well, look at us. There's still a town not that far from us where everybody in that town was German.
There's a bunch of that. There's a bunch of that all through the Carolinas too.
Anyway, guys, I'm sorry, Timmy. I know you showed up late, but I'm going to go help my wife.
Yeah, well,
go help your wife. It's important.
And
that's good. I need to get the stupid microphone off my neck.
I will catch you guys. You got it all. I'm still coming to help you, though. I'm hungry.
I'll see you then.
See you, bro.